Welcome to the Really 007 podcast for this special interview with the fabulous Trina Parks. And of course, she's best known to Bond fans for playing the acrobatic Thumper in Diamonds Are Forever. So you can find us and listen in on iTunes and Spotify. And of course, we're here on YouTube, our YouTube channel as well. We're also on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So do join in on the conversation there. With me today, my other contributors are Harry Pickup and Chris Goldie, who are thrilled. I know they're thrilled to be in the presence of the first actor we've had who has been part of the Sean Connery era. So we're really excited about that, Trina. It's fabulous. So, Trina, I believe you're coming all the way from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, I'm all the way from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
USA.
And what's the weather like there?
You're in the UK.
Yeah, we're in the UK, and we're not doing so bad here. It's pretty sunny. Probably not as nice as.
It's sunny.
Yeah, for a change. Yeah. So thank you for joining us, Trina. And I believe there's a 5-hour time difference there. Is that right?
Yeah, it's now 3:09.
Yeah, right. There you go. So Trina, you've had an astonishing career full of variety, really. An actor, dancer, choreographer, and have you even done some singing? Is that right?
Oh yeah, I started my first show, my act actually in Beverly Hills, California, back in late '69, early '70s. Mm-hmm.
Right. So what kind of singing have you done?
Well, I actually put together. Originally, I was asked to come and do the movie Great White Hope with the choreographer that I had previously toured with, Donnie McHale, in his company touring Europe, Eastern and Western Europe. We went to at that time before the wall came down, and then he was commissioned to choreograph the movie Great White Hope with James Earl Jones, but we had already also done the play Emperor Jones on Broadway and touring before that, after we came back from Europe. So when he was going to choreograph the Great White Hope, he called and said, we'd like to come to California. And I'd been there once with Anna Sokolo's company. I don't know if you know, Anna Sokolo was original dancer with Martha Graham's company. And I also am trained in Graham. So we came once to Berkeley to do a concert. And that was the only time I was in California. That was just at Berkeley. So I said, yeah, sure, I'd love to come to California and do the movie, and a lot of other of my dancer friends were in it. And that's originally how I came to California. And I decided, because my father was the lead tenor sax man in Calloway's band, and Jimmy Lunceford and Scott Joplin before that. And so I had a lot of music of jazz and old, vintage music. And he taught me a lot of about music. And also he was a teacher of classical music. So I learned a lot from him. Plus I was doing Broadway. And so I combined all of that kind of music in my act. I decided after I did the movie that I was going to do my own show. And that was my first show I put together with Broadway tunes and classical tunes and, pop tunes and of that period too. And I was handled by a lady that also invited all these different agencies there that I had no idea of. But Agency for the Performing Arts, which is APA and Cunningham, William Morris, about 3 or 4 agents came to see the show. Anyway, I signed with APA, and that's how I got to do the movie.
Right, okay.
At that time, of course, Marty Klein, who was the president of the agency, or my agent, and then president, called me and said that the people from the Bond film, which I didn't know anything about. I had never seen a Bond film. I didn't even know who Sean Connery was. When he asked me, he said, they'd like to see you for this movie for well, I think he just said for this part for the Bond James Bond movie. And when he told me about the part, I loved the part, and I said, fine, yeah, of course. And so that's originally how I was, cast to do it.
Yeah.
For first, of course, the first interview was an interview, wasn't actually a reading to the second interview. And then the third interview was that I had to do a screen test. And then the fourth one was when I had to do all kind of dancing and movement. And I knew the part. I knew, type of role it was. So I just put together a whole bunch of different choreography that I would think that would be used for that character.
And is that as part of a duo as well? Were you aware that you were half of a duo when you were auditioning?
At that time, I really didn't. I didn't know that. I just knew it was for that role. Yeah. I didn't know it was Bambi and Thumper until after I really got the script and all that.
Yeah.
Go back, Trina, you mentioned Cab Calloway. Now, he was involved with the Blues Brothers, and I believe you were part of that as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I did Blues Brothers, the original Blues Brothers, and I was in the church scene with James Brown. Yeah,
yeah, brilliant.
Dancing all wild. And,
yeah, I thought. Wow, what?
And but I didn't do the part. Cab was a whole nother time section area. We did the whole. We did that scene in the studio, and I think most of it, except for the location scenes and all that, where they had driving out of in the streets, were in the studio.
Yeah. So that was with James Brown. So another soul legend.
Yeah, he was so great. That whole scene was just wonderful. And we had so much fun. I think we did about 2 weeks on that.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
Just for that scene. Yeah. It was, and you're talking about, was it 80?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And even then, because people ask me about filming, how it takes 2 weeks to film just like almost a 4-minute scene. I said, well, first of all, it was a lot different than it is now. That the cameras were, as big, huge cameras. Now they're a lot smaller cameras. We did, there was no digital. We did everything more so live. So Sean did a lot of his stunts, even though Bob, was there. It looked a lot like him. And actually, he was a little bit shorter than he was, but kind of still buffy, But he was so great to work with. But anyway, that was a great shoot also.
You grew up in New York, is that right?
Yep. Yeah, Brooklyn, and raised in Brooklyn and in Harlem.
Oh, amazing! Absolutely brilliant. So in terms of you had your career in Broadway, was that the first sort of part of your career that took off?
Say that again. I didn't.
You started off in Broadway.
Oh, Broadway, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I started off as a dancer, and doing concert work, stage, and so then went on to Broadway. Late 60s, mid to late 60s. I started taking auditions for that, and did a few.
Yeah.
So was it always your intention to be a dancer or just a performer?
I always loved to dance, and I just felt that was what I should do. I loved to do it, and I was almost. My father was telling me this little story about when he took me to piano class. You sit next to the teacher, and you're supposed to play the keys what she plays, or if you could hear, they want to hear what you hear, what your ear is like for music. And Daddy said that first thing I did was I jumped up and started dancing. I didn't play one note. So when she started playing, I just jumped up, and that was the time where I guess I was maybe 5 or 6 maybe. And I had the big crinoline skirts on, and I was just turning, and every time she change a tune, change the beat, I changed my dance with it. I didn't sit down and play one note. And he said he didn't think I was going to get the class, but I did take class. She did accept me. I had rhythm.
Yeah.
And I could hear a song and actually play it like with 4 fingers. And that was kind of a deterrent to learning. When someone can hear something and play it, you don't look at the music like you should. You hear it and start playing it. So, but I did. And then for my father teaching, a lot of times I would, sit in the class when he was teaching classical music, flute and piccolo. He would teach. So, I learned a little. But my focus, because I danced practically every day. Of course, when I was going to Performing Arts High School, I was majoring in modern in Martha Graham. So I was there Monday through Friday, but then I would also take classes at the Catherine Dunham School, doing that, which was on 42nd and 9th. And then sometimes on the weekends, definitely on Saturday, I would go down to the village and around 3rd and Bleecker, somewhere around there, there was the Martha Graham School, and I was taught by her original dancers, which was such an honor. Of course, I didn't realize that until I grew up, that what great training that I had in those days. All the great directors and choreographers. So that's all me, and I just loved it. But then when I first realized that I wanted to really sing and then really start more working on my acting, I just went for it.
Yeah.
And loved it all. Yeah.
You had a couple of Blaxploitation films, didn't you? Early on, were they your first kind of films? As Darktown, Strutters, and The Mothers, 2 sort of really iconic classics of the genre now, really. Yeah.
Strutters was fun because I was able to play different characters, and it was a comedic movie, but I was like the straight person in it too. So, but yeah, that was fun, and starred with Roger Mosley, co-starring with him, and Stan Lathan, Shirley Washington. Was in that you would know. That's basically. But then I did The Mothers, which they changed the name. I don't know why. Jane Kennedy, Roseanne Caton, Jeannie Bell, and myself were the 4 stars that went to the Philippines to star in the movie The Mothers. It was called Black, some kind of diamonds. It was diamonds in there, Black Girl thing in the beginning. And I said, why did they change it? It was so adamant of what the original title was, but The Mothers.
Yeah, but apparently it's one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite films.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're good
that.
company there. Yeah. And he's obviously sort of done similar style films since, hasn't he? Which you were there first,
Yeah. And it's something I really, really have been wanting to meet him, right, John? we've been trying to get to him.
Oh, that'd be great. I'm sure he would. Yeah, that'd be super.
Yeah.
He only does films every few years, though, doesn't he? That's the problem.
I know.
Takes quite a long time.
I love all of his films, every single one. They're really.
Well,
very,
he actually said he wouldn't mind directing a Bond film. So there you go. That would be very interesting.
Quentin did. Oh wow, that would be.
Yeah.
Direct Bond. Oh my gosh, that may be really interesting. Put a little.
Yeah. An X-rated.
Sort of more X-rated.
Yeah. A violent Bond film.
And
the return of Thumper.
Yeah.
That's funny. Wow.
So in terms of James Bond, you said so you'd never heard of Sean Connery, so you weren't aware of the previous films growing up?
No, I never saw a Bond film until I saw mine.
Wow, that's amazing.
I saw Diamond. Never. I was you know, I was in New York. My thing was basically, well, I did, of course, I did Broadway, and I, worked with several well-known names, and actors, but I didn't really go to too many movies. And I didn't see any of Bond movies. So I didn't know Sean Connery at all. I didn't know who he was. And people were saying, "Oh, you're going to work with Sean Connery?" Yeah. Yeah. And you see, at that time, there was not cell phones or, computers where you could look up people and I didn't.
Was there any level of like secrecy like there is in films today, where if you're casting a film as big as a James Bond film now, then you've probably got to keep really silent and hush about your parts. But at the time, were you able to talk freely about being cast in it? And
I didn't. Well, my thing is, I never talk about or say anything to anybody. At that time, of course, like I said, no cell phones or computers, so you didn't put it on who I am in, so and so. So only thing I would say, when I signed that contract, that's when I know that I'm doing something. That I actually have the role. That and I learned that from doing theater and theater, dance, and Broadway. Because sometimes you're saying, like, we were supposed to go on tour to Kowloon to do it when I was in a dance company, and that was a big thing. I mean, the people were there to sign the contract and all, and it fell through. So you got to be careful. But I know personally, I never say anything until I know, like, pretty much I'm on that set. Well, I've started my first rehearsal. So no, I when I did the movie, again, I didn't know computer, cell phones. So I did tell some people, and it was really something because, again, I did not know that I was the first American Black female to be in, a feature role in the Bond film. And I, of course, several of my dancer friends saw the movie. And the first time I really actually knew was when a friend of mine called me and said, "Do you know you were the first one?" No. I loved doing the movie. And when I did the movie, the next thing I was in New York to go to rehearsal for a play called Her First Roman with Barbara Berry and Paul. I can't remember his last name. But so I was doing different things. That's like, oh, I'm the first. Oh, wow. Let me tell everybody.
So who did you initially speak to before actually filming? Obviously, you had the casting agent there, everyone. Did you get to meet Guy Hamilton or Cubby Broccoli or anyone?
Yeah, those were the first that I met with my first interview. Yeah. I know it was Sir Hamilton and Sir Broccoli. And I believe Sir Broccoli's wife was there. What's her name? Anita. I've written all about all of this, and I can't remember the name.
How was that then?
And I believe.
How was that as an experience, meeting all those people?
Oh, that was fine. I was fine. It was like in a big round table in the office, but at the agency at the APA in Los Angeles, and they were there. I think Bob was there, and maybe script lady. It was like 4 people, 4 or 5 people. And so they were asking me questions, and I'm not, I'm not shy or,
no,
or nervous or, okay, yeah. I answered them. Of course, they knew about my history of, of dance and things I had done before that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have called to ask for me. But they wanted me to tell them about some things, other things, and that's what I did. Just talk to them just like I'm speaking to you.
It's amazing. And the characters just sort of appears, and we don't really know whether she's a goodie or a baddie. I suppose it's a bit ambiguous. Yeah. So did you sort of have an idea in your mind, like a backstory or anything to suggest that you were on whose side?
Well, yeah. I mean, the script. I was working for Willard, Willard White,
Yeah,
and I and I was told anybody that comes into there with that I don't know that's a friend, then they are going to get some business
Yeah.
from me, because I'm not going to let anybody in that door. Now, well, it comes in the door, but he's not going to get further than that without
a kick in the nuts.
And I like that.
You're the first person to surely kick Sean Connery in the nuts. I mean, that's another first, Trina. Incredible.
That was funny too. Because that was one time I was a little hesitant on kneeing him. I mean, I knew not to really do it, but even when I was doing it kind of lightly, and I remember Sir Broccoli was saying that, Trina, we know you can do it harder, and what's the problem? I said, well, I remember this, like, I really didn't want to hurt him. So he said, well, he has one of those football covers on him. He said he might have two of them. Oh, okay.
Permission to
we got
go
it
ahead.
now. So the next take was it. And that was funny, because the people, the text and all, they started laughing. I don't want to hurt him.
So, how much of the fight was rehearsed, or was there a lot of improvisation in the process?
How much of what?
Was it a lot of improvisation, or did you have to go through each step very, very rigorously?
Yeah. No improvisation. No, we had for a couple of days before, Bob and I. First, it was just Bob and I went through each step. It took probably a whole day or more, or into the next day, of what exactly we were doing. And then when we got to the middle part, where Bambi has a Tashawn around his neck, and I do that, what I called the stalking section.
Yeah.
Before that, we just kind of went through the whole scene where we would end up. And then that whole section, Bob wanted me to do something myself. And so we went through several different things, because he said, of course, Sir Broccoli and Sir Hamilton would like to see that.
Yeah.
So he said, because I'm not a dancer, you are. So, okay, you got some things I'll have. So I had two different sections that he liked, and that's what we showed them probably maybe the third day, or maybe the second half of the second day, or something like that.
You called it the stalking section. Sorry, you go on. Sorry.
I call it the stalking section.
Yeah, can you tell us more about that, kind of, because that sounds really appropriate.
Because after I do the kick and the turn, it's like an animal going to stalk someone, and just going to actually
So
that's what, before that other animal realizes he's coming, or she's coming, she's got him.
Yeah.
That's when I kicked him. I call it that stalking section. And so they liked one of the sections that I did, and that's what you see on camera.
Yeah, I think that is brilliant. That stalking section, as you call it, is absolutely brilliant. It's so, and again, something very new for the series at that time, a sort of different way of fighting, and how you've kind of fused dance with fights, and then making it animalistic is visually, it's amazing to watch. It's really, really amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun too, and I loved it. One reason too, Bob was fabulous to work with, and he, we knew exactly what we had to do, but he also, it was like working with a choreographer for a theater piece or dance concert piece, because really working together on it. And that's what I loved about it, because it was like I was doing a theater piece instead of movie. It was just lots of cameras in front of me, and we were able to do it again. Not like theater when that's it, do it once. But it was a lot of fun. It was Well, it was a iconic movie, which I had no idea was so iconic until afterwards. But I was just having really as what I say in the beginning, I was really having a ball doing
Yeah.
it.
When you got to is it Palm Springs where it was set?
Yep.
I mean,
right in the
what was your
Elrod
thought when you
house.
saw this? Yeah, this amazing house with all these people. You're on a massive project. It must have been quite daunting, maybe. Or...
Yeah. It was we did the whole thing in that house. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can't see the house because it's at the complete top of the hill off of Palm Canyon, West Palm Canyon. But you can see Bob Hope's house, which looks like a round spaceship or something. Yep. Well, that house, the Elrod house is above that. It's the very top.
Oh, okay.
When they were first taking me, I said, "Are we still going up?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long did you film there for?
About 2 weeks. Yeah.
Was it 2? Right.
Yeah.
And does that include the bit outside in the pool?
What's that?
Does that include the bit outside in the pool where you get dumped?
Oh yeah. Well, the pool is right there in the house.
Right. So okay.
Yeah, it's at the end of the house. Yeah. And those people were saying those rocks, those are real rocks, real rocks. No plastic or foam rubber like they would do these days. Maybe.
Including the indoor rock that you're lying on to begin with.
Every rock you see, real.
Wow.
Because that house is made out of that rock, the big rock that formation, and the rock where where you first see Thumper is we would almost a half a day or more. Not almost, we were a half day, on that scene. So my side was getting really, worn and sore. And so they had to put like something soft cushion on there. So I'm on a cushion in the movie.
Okay.
But you can't see it. But because laying on that real rock all day, can you imagine?
Yeah.
It's not smooth, it's bumpy. And also at the very end, where the pool is, those are real rocks around there. So even if I could dive, which I can, but I don't dive well. I can swim, but they wouldn't have let me because I was with, Screen Actors Guild. That would be too dangerous. If anything, if I hit my foot, anything could happen. So I really didn't dive into the pool. I walked. Only thing I didn't like was that I wasn't there when they did that second unit. So, and I would have said something about her hair. Before mine was.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think it was Sean either, though, was it? Jumping in.
It didn't look like him.
Well, Sean did. Oh no.
No.
That wasn't Sean going.
His hair as well.
Yeah. He did a lot, but he didn't do that. Oh no. Neither he or I could do that. No.
But it was you underwater getting pushed underwater. Yeah.
Now these days they wouldn't have that. Us being underwater that long. They would probably have us in the dressing room or on the side and have the stunt people underneath, and then the shot when we come up, we would just come up.
Yeah.
But we were under there a long time. You're talking about when the guys come running in and Sean is talking to them, and we're still under there. Now I knew we would be under there, but I didn't know we were going to be under there that long.
Yeah. Is Sean standing on something? Because he seems to kind of have a little bit more. He seems to be higher than you guys and able to hold you down. Did Sean get to stand on something?
Yeah, I think he was standing on something.
It's all right for him then.
He was, yeah. I think he was.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I think what happened, this is what we did. We came we were further in, to the lower level of the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, see, yeah.
That's right. I remember saying walk further in, to the lower level. Yeah, that's what happened.
Can I ask? You mentioned.
Thank you for reminding me.
Having,
when I do these signings, and all, which I'm getting ready to do in a couple of days in Colorado.
Oh, great.
We have these James Bond initiados. I mean, just know everything about Bond. They ask you, so and so and so. No. Tell me about it. I feel like, oh goodness, I don't know that. And she knows everything.
We're a bit like that. Sorry.
Yeah, like that. Like, it's fun though. I've learned a lot about the film from you all.
Yeah. And us here.
A lot of things I didn't know. Right, but that's something. That's it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I was going to ask about. You mentioned having a little bit of a sort of backstory in terms of that you worked for Willard White and you were there to sort of protect him and batter anyone who comes close to that. But were you given anything beyond that, or did you kind of create anything? Because it seems that Bambi and Thumper are quite, they're quite theatrical, and there is a sort of performance with you're more of a dancer, and the other one is more of an acrobat. I always had this idea that you would kind of worked in Vegas, characters worked in Vegas kind of performing, but we're also his bodyguards. Does that kind of ring true in any way?
That's really something, because I had well, of course, I spoke with Sir Hamilton regarding the part and on the set with the part, and he liked the different strengths that I was doing with the part. Of course, they wanted just someone who danced. The character would not just know karate; she would have to have like the dance style too. He wanted that style to it. But I wanted to bring even more strength to it. And again, you mentioned theatrical. I guess I loved, I love the theater and being almost raised in the theater as a dancer and all that. I brought that also to it, just naturally, And if I was doing anything that either Sir Raphael or Sir Hamilton wasn't, didn't like, they would say to me, like when after I throw Sean, after I throw Sean, and then I go over to the wall and I say, "You got him, Bambi.
Yeah.
You take him." Now he didn't tell me to do that. I put my hand on my hip. You got him, Bambi. It's just like a style that
amazing.
I have. I could have just said, "You got him, Bambi," or whatever, but I. So you give it something, anybody can say you got him, Bambi, or you get him, Bambi, it's got.
That's
I think
amazing.
it's very much a case of you bring your experience and you're kind of creating something, like say on the page could be quite dull, but you've turned it into such a memorable character and memorable scene. There's really nothing quite like it in the entire series, is there? Because it's just so striking.
It was fun, and my thing when I first was at I had seen, was in the audience and seeing it. I think I was in the back, and seeing the reaction of the people. It's really something, because here is 007 is the good guy, and I am basically not the good guy, and they're rooting for.
Yeah.
Go get him, Thumper, go get him. That was amazing. I didn't know that would happen.
Yeah.
I'm being a Sean Connery and you rooting for me or for Thumper. So it was fun. So obviously, it worked.
Yeah, at the time it will have been incredibly original, and I think it does still remain totally original in the franchise. And like Chris has said, totally iconic, and it's an immediate image that's never really been recreated in the franchise at all. They've not even come close to kind of doing something similar to that. So it remains a real one-of-a-kind fight sequence that you're in.
Thank you. I'm glad. I had no idea. You know, when you're in your 20s, you don't think, oh, when I'm 75,
Can I ask about Lola?
When I'm 75, I won't be here.
Lola Larson, was she someone that did you spend, how much time did you spend with her in rehearsals and choreographing things, or did you do it independently and then come together just on set? Well,
the first, because she came in the second, I believe the second day or so, and it wasn't that person was not the same person that was originally cast. The third day, that's when Mary came. Well, her name is really Mary came in, because I wasn't told anything, of course, but I just feel because they wanted more of her to do the acrobatics, and she was in the Olympics at that time. This is the other character who came in, and she since then that was her first and last film, because she wasn't an actress or anything. That's why she could do the jumps and the diving into the pool and all that, because she was not in SAG. So she did it Taft-Hartley for that first film, and was great. She was very young. She was about 16, maybe.
Really?
Wow.
And yeah, she was young. She was wonderful. We didn't talk too much because she was kind of shy, and of course she was completely different age. And the first lady who came, she was an actress, so we spoke a little bit, but not that much. So, but we did, for being completely two different age groups, and her not being in done a film before, she did a great job. She did a good job. And she's since been in the medical field, and very high administrator in the medical field. I saw her once 2 years ago. We had a big James Bond fundraiser thing in San Francisco, and that's when I saw her since we did the film.
Wow.
You're saying how iconic. No, go on. Sorry, Trina, carry on.
No, I was saying she hasn't wanted to do any signings or go anywhere, because that's her. And I can understand. And even then, she had her daughter and son-in-law there, and she was saying, "Ma, you should go and do some signings with Trina." They're always asking. I get asked about her all the time. And
where's Bambi?
She's not in. Which would be nice.
Yeah.
But I can understand. She's in a completely different field.
Yeah.
Completely different.
But your outfits as well, so iconic. Do you still have the yellow bikini?
No, and I wanted to keep it, but of course they had a couple, because at the very last scene we did it a couple times, so they had to have a few outfits, a few of them. But when I had mine, and one was gone. But now when I took mine off, it was wet, so the costume person took it, and I was the last one there, because that was the very last scene. And Babby was there too, but she had left a little earlier. Oh, I know why, because then I swim over and I point down to Willow White. I knew it. That's why I was last, and because they shot front to back, so. That was the very last scene shot, and then I left. Well, of course they drove me back to the hotel, and I was ready to go. I think it was the next day morning. I was flying back to New York.
Wow.
So I didn't even think about, I should have kept the wet. One, pack the other one up. Save that one for me. I know now.
Yeah, worth a lot of money. Well, we've got to ask you about Sean, Trina. We obviously love him, and he hasn't long passed, so that's obviously been very sad recently. But What was he like to meet, and what was he like as a gentleman?
So fabulous. Now, we were staying at the same hotel, and I think it was the Hilton, but it was, you know, in Palm Canyon, not too far as you come into Palm Springs. And he wasn't shooting, but he was up. He sent me I was sent a message saying that he wanted to meet me before we got on the set downstairs, and in the cafeteria or whatever. And I thought that was just wonderful. So that was really the first time. And we talked a little before they came to pick me up. He was not on the set until a few days later. Because like I said, I had to do my, my setting, the set the set layout with Bob first. Yeah.
So
but he was really, it was like we had worked together before, because I was comfortable with him and he was comfortable with me. People say, well, maybe it was better that you didn't know him before. It wouldn't have made a difference. Like I said, he's not the first big star name I've worked with.
No.
So
I'm not, didn't know who he was.
Like, oh!
Yeah. Well, you can see why he's a star, surely, after working with him.
Yeah, he was just, knowing his story about how even he was brought up, I think it was, he called that, we would call like the ghetto part of Harlem.
Yeah.
Where he, it wasn't a rich family that he was brought up with. So I think he has that consideration and that empathy for other people and other people of other ethnicities that possibly have gone through the same things he has.
Yeah.
So he was good guy, and I'm really so disappointed that I didn't get to see him. I did see him again in the I think it was late 80s and 90s when I was in New York. Just happened to see he and his wife Micheline. They were going into a store, and I was waiting on Madison Avenue to go back home for the bus, and they were coming in to go to it was a cutlery store, and I happened to turn around. It was winter. It was
wow.
I heard this commotion, and then I said, Sean Connery walked into the store with, I said, oh my gosh. So Michelin was in front, and so I came in behind her, and then I said hi, and I said, don't say anything, and I guess she just kind of then realized who I was. And then when I said, I tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, hi, it's Trina. He said, oh, Thumper. I wish we had cell phones then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if he subtly slipped in one of his football guard protectors when he saw you downstairs.
That was really a funny time, though, doing that scene. We did it, like I said, we did it a few times before Sir Broccoli said to me, Trina, I don't think you're really doing that.
So is Sean, would you say he's your favourite James Bond?
Oh yeah, even from all the ones. And then after that, Roger Moore. And I met Roger too.
Oh, did you?
They had a tribute to him, and we were invited to his event. Yeah, it was really nice. So we have pictures on stage with him and all that.
Can I ask? I understand that you knew Gloria.
And most of the time, of all the signings I've done and spoken to people, Sean is on the top of the list.
Yeah, good. We love him.
Yeah.
Mentioning Roger Moore, I understand that you knew Gloria Hendry and Jeffrey Holt.
Oh gosh, yeah. Gloria and I were friends way before we did the film.
Oh, right.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And in fact, Gloria modeled with my husband, because my husband, Charles, bless his soul, Charles Elder, was one of the top Black models back in the 60s
in
New York. and Gloria was, modeling with him, and then I I met Gloria. I think, I don't remember exactly how and when we met, but I know she was doing. She was doing. She was one of the first black Playboy bunnies, and it was either Chicago or New York because I was invited. I performed at one of the two. I can't remember which one, and I got a Playboy key.
Oh, amazing.
Like I was going to use it. No, but but they gave all entertainers a Playboy key so you can go, any of the places. So, but anyway, that she was there, and but yeah, that was before we both did the film.
Yeah.
Mm.
You guys are
advice. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
So we've known each other for long time, good friends.
No, I was asking, did you
work together since? She's written a play and produced a play in Los Angeles, and I was doing the choreography for it.
Oh, right.
2 years ago. Very good, very nice, very good play.
Yeah. So obviously knowing them before, that they were obviously going to be in. She was going to be in Live and Let Die. Were you able to sort of offer advice about her obviously appearing in a Bond film of her own?
That
you were able to offer her some advice because obviously she was in Live and Let Die.
Oh no, she had done other films, and she, did like fighting films. I forget the name of a couple of films she did where she was fighting also. So yeah, no, she knew exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she
were pioneers. You guys are pioneers, the first black Bond women in the entire series, which has paved the way. We've had Grace Jones, we've had Halle Berry, and now Naomi Harris. So it's been, you were the first. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really wasn't something I knew. Like I said, I knew of, but it's been just wonderful. She was the first love interest for Bond woman, first black Bond woman love interest, and I was the first to beat up and live.
Yes,
You did, yeah. But you met up those other women, didn't you, a few years ago? There was an event, is that right? 2015.
I what?
You met up the other Bond women who I've mentioned.
Yeah.
Gloria and Halle.
It was really nice. They had a tribute to black Bond women in LA. I think it was 2018, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And 18, I think. And it was just wonderful. Of course, it was Gloria, and Halle and Naomi came. Grace wasn't able to show up, and who was the other lady? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. It was 4 of us. And so we were able to talk just a little bit because they were taking pictures, and and then Halle and Naomi had to leave right after the event. But it was nice because one thing we were wishing, it was a huge hall. It was at the museum. I think it was African American Museum in Los Angeles. Big hall in the front, the first area you come to. And we were sitting, and the way they had it is Gloria and I were sitting on one side, and then they had the stage in front, and then they were showing each one of our, scenes from each one of our movies. And then they had Halle and Naomi like sitting like a mile from us on the other side. And I said, why did they put us in one, table right in front so people could come and talk to all of us like we were doing a signing or something, Yeah. But they had us on two different sides. And so and Gloria was saying, well, I guess they're having the vintage Bonds together and the new ones on the other side. Gloria did great. So, but it was really nice, and we were able to just talk a little bit. We went on stage and had a little, each one of us spoke a little bit, and then pretty much after that they had to leave. So we were a little I'm a little disappointed we didn't really bond as much as we could have if we were at least sitting together, you know, at one long table in front of the scene, in front of the stage. But it was good to know Hallie, and she actually Gloria and I were in was in a organization called Kwanzaa back in the 70s. I joined at 76. She was, I think, in it a year or so before me or so. And it was to give, we were managing a battered women and children's home in Los Angeles. That name escapes me now, but it's still there. Why I say this with Hallie, because she now also is sponsoring that home and has built another wing onto the home.
Oh, brilliant.
To the house. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And it was, and I don't know if I knew that when I first met her, because I would have said something to her. I've been trying to kind of reach her since then. But yeah, and it's so wonderful. And Gloria and I were in that organization that we would, every Kwanzaa, which is the 26th of December, which is my birthday too.
Oh,
and
wow.
so we gave a big event, and we had the patrons give, very beginning, we had them give cans and non-perishables in a big can. They'd put it in, and we would give it to the families. And then later on, we would just get the monies from the patrons that would send in for tickets and give it to the families if they needed their heat on, or for some of it was turned off, or we would just, give them for Kwanzaa, because it was, December. So, and then it's a great thing to know that is connection. That's a connection
yeah.
we have with Hallie, and that she still has the house. Oh, it went out my mind, the name of the house, but it's still there for battered women. And I used to go there and give some exercises and classes to the ladies and all that. So. But the organization is not anymore. But still, we give to we give to the house.
Wow.
But fortunately, it is sponsored a lot. Has more sponsors now.
Good.
Especially with Hallie.
Yeah. And there's Lashana Lynch is, of course, in the new Bond film. She was meant to be playing 007, but I don't think she's going to be the new James Bond. I don't think I have to worry about that.
I mean, that's a whole big thing that how rumors get around. No, she's gonna. I think she's gonna take that number for a minute or so, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's not. No, she's not going to be a James Bond.
No.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but it's great that she is in the film and has
absolutely.
has a role of that. And one of the magazines said that I was against her being the James Bond. Me? Of course not. And I'm very glad that she was, that it was her a featured role, being a Black woman as a featured role. Here I am being the first, and I'm going to say I don't think it's actually. I don't know how
they spin things.
Oh no! I just treasure that she's doing that, and I think it's Jeffrey. I think his last name is another Black actor in it.
Jeffrey Wright.
Oh, Jeffrey Wright, yeah.
Yeah. But the franchise has been that since the very beginning. It's been open to other ethnicities.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I really praise about the Bond films, way before American films were.
Yeah.
The first Dr. No, I'm pretty sure.
Dr. No, yeah.
A black actor as I think he was maybe Jamaican, to work, to feature or co-star with Bond.
Yeah.
Until he got killed in the middle of the film or something. But what was that?
Great.
62?
Yeah. 62, yes.
Yeah.
Again, quite pioneering.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Right. The Japanese who I met when I was in England. I forget her name now.
Oh.
But Yo was one, not her, it was the other one, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think. But anyway, And then who I think is a fabulous karate artist. She is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Millie Yoa or something. Her last name.
Yeah.
Okay.
She co-starred with him with Sir Sean, I think it was.
Yeah.
I might be wrong with the 007.
You Only Live Twice. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, not You Only Live Twice.
Man with the Only Gun.
I forget it, James Bond. And then I'm trying to think of what I'm saying. It, the ethnicity that they've cast has been just open.
Yeah.
So much more open than we are here. We're just getting to that point where we're casting, other ethnicities in featured and starring roles.
Could I possibly ask what it was like to be directed by Guy Hamilton as well? Because he's someone who's directed a few James Bond films, and I'm just wondering, what that experience was like and how you remember it.
Oh, wonderful. Guy was the sweetest. I mean, he was, he would wanted to say something to me. He would say, okay, like I have a picture of him leaning down, and he was saying something about when I was going to be on the ground or something. And if you could just do this, it's like, can you do this, please, for me?
Yeah.
And I do it. Whatever you want, I'm going to do it. But I'm used to directors saying, go here and you better go over there.
Very polite.
And this is the way we're going to do it. That's American,
Yeah.
It was just wonderful. It's just wonderful working with Guy. Really wish I could have worked again with him as a director. Just great. Knew exactly what he wanted in his way. It's wonderful, respectable, generous, whatever way of speaking to you, not demanding and not,
It's great.
Just good.
It's great to hear.
Lovely. Mm-hmm.
Well, can you believe, Trina, it's 50 years nearly since Diamonds Are Forever came out. Can you believe that?
I cannot imagine. I mean, it's like it was last month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the admiration and people that like when I did the signing of in Pensacola signing, it is wonderful. It's just like I just did the movie.
Yeah.
It's quite an honor. I had not a clue it would be. I would still be around speaking about this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll always be talking about it. We did a review on it and spent about 10 hours talking about it. So yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're a bit sad, like I say. Yeah. But it's a part of cinema history, James Bond, isn't it?
It is.
You've been a part of that. Yeah.
And I'm so proud, so proud. And I thank my agents. Of course, I thank to Broccoli for casting me, and my agents, and Catherine Dunham for giving me that strength and knowing and the knowledge of the karate that she taught me, which was Agya. The Haitian karate is what I knew,
Wow.
And so all of those people, all of those iconic people that are gone, God bless them all. That are all in me. They're all in me. I couldn't have done it without them.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Taught me a lot. Taught me so much.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Trina, for speaking to us. Like I say, we're in awe of anyone in to do with the Bond world, and someone who's been in an amazing scene with Sean Connery and has had that experience. We're thrilled and delighted, and you've been absolutely brilliant. So thank you, Trina.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And I hope to see you in 22.
Really, 007?